Chapter 22. New Intel. Commander, Sergeant Smith is back. One of many runners Karnak was forced to use in place of a radio called out to him. Karnak turned quickly. From where he stood, going over a preliminary report from Becker, who was tasked with inventorying the hundreds of storage units now under UCM control. "I'll be right there, Private," Karnak replied, turning back to Becker. "Okay, sounds good. Keep me updated." Karnak brought his briefing with Becker to an end. "You got it, Commander," Becker replied, excited about the new task he had been given. Karnak looked around the area once more, still unable to comprehend just how something so massive could have been built without the world knowing about it. For now, though, it wasn't a concern, merely a thought. Karnak began heading for the entrance of the tunnel to get Smith and the reinforcements he requested placed throughout, giving them a better chance of holding on to what they had gained. "Smith, over here." Karnak waved him over to where a room had once been an office for what they assumed was checking in trucks hauling loads. With Smith heading his way after entering the tunnel, Karnak walked over to the water cooler sitting at the back of the room and began filling his canteen. Having a full canteen was something Karnak had always ensured ever since his first deployment, where he felt as if he spent every waking minute drinking water more so than anything else, due to the high temperature of the region. Standing with his back to the door, Karnak heard Sergeant Smith enter. "Sergeant, we have a great deal of work ahead of us." "Yes, we do. And the first should be killing the bastard who killed Sawyer," Kate said urgently, cutting Karnak off. Thrown off a little by hearing her voice, Karnak splashed water from his canteen as he quickly spun around. "Sorry, Commander. She wouldn't wait." Sergeant Smith stepped in front of Kate. Karnak waved his hand to one side for Smith to move. "It's quite okay, Sergeant." "What is it, Kate?" "Robert didn't miss. He got the bastard right in the face, and Sierra saw him at the camp," Kate blurted out quickly. "Slow down," Karnak told her as Sierra entered the room. "What is this about a camp?" "The bastard who shot Sawyer is at a FEMA camp just 30 miles west of here," Kate said loudly and fast. Karnak understood her emotional state and wanted nothing more than to help avenge his fallen friend's love. "Here, take a drink. Slow down and start from the beginning." Karnak spoke in the softest voice he could while handing her his canteen. As she drank, Karnak turned his attention to Smith. "Split the men up, half at the entrance and half at the other end with Bellamy. If you see Robert, send him this way." After a few sips of water, Kate composed herself and started again, telling of the horror they saw and how people were killing one another for fresh water and food. She informed Karnak how traveling had become very dangerous and slow, leading up to the event of the day. She told him how they ran into the group, traveling along the woods for safety, and how Sierra headed into the woods after them. Then came the part Karnak found very interesting. "Sierra came at them from behind, giving us the upper hand to subdue them. The CERT men never saw her coming." "Did you say CERT?" Karnak interrupted. "Yes, they were wearing patches with those initials on it." Kate continued with her story. "Then Carter, who was an Army reservist and not one of them, took us to a bluff near the FEMA camp. It had to have been built and ready. There's no way a complex that large could have gone up over the last month. Sierra can tell you what she saw after Mac, Carlos, and I went back to check on Darien after the gunshot from the bus." "Darien was shot?" Karnak asked, concerned for the boy who saved their asses on day one. "No, he should be okay. He took a nasty blow to the head after one of the prisoners freed himself and tried to escape," Kate replied. "Good to hear. Sierra, what did you see?" Karnak asked reluctantly, having enjoyed the time away from the girl who drove him crazy with her rash actions that almost led her to stick her pistol in his face. "Thousands of people held captive. One area was dedicated to veterans and current military who wouldn't play along. Then I saw the man with his face stitched up where my brother hid him." Sierra paused at the sound of a knock on the door. "Enter!" Karnak could clearly see Robert through the glass. As Robert walked through the door and spotted Sierra, he went right to her, giving her a hug that took her off her feet. "Sis, when did you get back?" Sierra tried to push free but was unable to due to his overpowering strength. "Put me down, Rob," she demanded. Letting her go, Robert turned to Karnak. "You wanted to see me, Commander?" "I thought you should hear this. Sierra." Karnak motioned for her to continue. Turning to Sierra, Robert waited to hear what she had to say. "You didn't miss." Those 3 words from Sierra struck a nerve in Robert. He understood just what she was talking about. The emotions of that day came pouring back as the image of that moment played over in his mind. "What do you mean?" Robert asked. "I saw him this morning. You got him in his right cheek, Rob," Sierra told her brother as he looked over at Kate. Taking a few steps across the room to stand in front of Kate, Robert looked in her eyes that didn't judge him, even though he felt as if they should. "Kate, I will kill him," Robert said without blinking. Karnak could feel the sincerity in Robert's voice, along with the anger, as he thought hard about what he wanted to say next. "We will not be able to go at this moment." Those words drew the response he had already anticipated, as those standing before him voiced their objections. Karnak raised his hand, signaling them to stop. "We have just conducted an operation that has achieved greater gains for the UCM than anyone could imagine. First, we must ensure that we hold on to it. Second, we will plan for the camp." "This is time-sensitive," Kate blurted out, cutting Karnak off. "Yes, I understand that, Kate, and I want that son of a bitch just as much as you. But Sawyer wouldn't want everything to be endangered for revenge, and you know that. What I'm suggesting is one day. The men are already setting up defensive positions here, and we need at least that amount of time to plan and have things ready. Don't you agree, Kate?" Karnak stared straight into Kate's eyes, willing her to see reason. "Yes," Kate replied, knowing that Karnak was right, and that just one day was quick to plan and prep an operation of this size. "Then tonight we plan. Tomorrow we prep and stage everything for tomorrow night, and attack at first light the following morning.